According to the United Kingdom Metro, the only documented fatal orca attacks on humans have occurred in captivity. So why are they called killer whales? Because 4 deaths and multiple injuries have occurred in captivity. Today I'm going to tell you why orcas shouldn't be in captivity and why SeaWorld should release their orcas. Orcas live much longer in the wild. Orcas live longer in the wild. Typically, wild females live for up to 50 years on average and can live up to 100 years. In captivity, though, they only live up to a maximum of 40 years, but usually do not live to see their 25th birthday. Even though the fact orcas live longer in the wild is very well known, SeaWorld still lies about it in their ads. SeaWorld claims orcas live just as long in the wild as they do in captivity, which is a lie. Scientists have known this for many years now. Orcas do not thrive under veterinary care like some endangered animals do. As we all know, most animals in zoos and aquariums are unhealthy, unhappy, and worse off than they would be in the wild, and orcas are no exception. Former SeaWorld trainer Samantha Bird says, "It's time to stop the shows, it's time to stop forcing the animals to perform in basically a circus environment." Forcing orcas to perform is cruel to the orcas, and they'd be much better off with the other 50,000 thriving orcas in the wild. Another very hazardous danger to orcas in captivity is raking. Raking is when one orca drags their teeth across another orca's skin and makes deep cuts. They do this in captivity to show their dominance. This is a picture of an orca in captivity from the SeaWorld in Orlando, and it has multiple rakings. Like I said earlier, there have been no deaths of humans in the wild, but in captivity there have been 4 deaths and over 100 injuries. The most well-known and most recent death was the death of the SeaWorld trainer Don Brancho. According to ABC News, the autopsy determined Don Brancho died of blunt force trauma to the head, neck, and torso, and drowning when the giant orca yanked her into SeaWorld's pool on February 24, 2010. The orca was so violent with Brancho that part of her scalp was, as the autopsy said, forcibly torn from her head. Yet, SeaWorld publicly blamed Don Brancho for her own death. They had their attorneys speak publicly with news sources, saying that if she was with them right then, that she would say it was her own fault. But former SeaWorld trainer Bridget Prytle said, "The truth is that it wasn't Don's fault," and many other former SeaWorld trainers agree with her. Tilikum is the orca responsible for Don Brancho's death and the 2 other deaths. Tilikum has lived in captivity since he was 2 years old and was the first orca to ever live in captivity in SeaWorld. The 4th death of orcas in captivity occurred in Loro Parque, a zoo in Spain. The death of a Loro Parque trainer named Alexis Martez, who was crushed to death in the jaws of Cato. Cato was one of 4 orcas on loan from SeaWorld. They were loaned to Loro Parque with very little training, and Loro Parque was not ready for them. Under SeaWorld's jurisdiction, calves and mothers are separated. In the wild, orcas stay with their mothers until they die. Former trainer John Hargrove talks about this in his book, Beneath the Surface. He says, "SeaWorld claims they don't separate mothers and calves because they don't consider an orca a calf when they stop nursing. But they would never be separated in the wild." Hargrove tells of times when calves separated while nursing, even though SeaWorld says otherwise. Orcas are very intelligent and can experience separation anxiety. Hargrove says, "In fact, when calf Takara was taken from mother Kasaka, she was emitting vocalizations that were never heard before by anyone. They brought in a SeaWorld expert to analyze these vocals, but they have never heard them. Kusaka was trying anything to get back to Kara. So what can you do to help? First, you can educate yourself more on the topic by watching the documentary Blackfish, found on Netflix, and reading the former SeaWorld trainer's John Hargrove's book, Beneath the Surface. Secondly, you can actively boycott SeaWorld. Besides just not going there, you can take a picture of yourself in front of SeaWorld if you're ever near one and post it on social media. Tell people why you aren't going there because they put employees in danger and kill their orcas sooner. Thank you for watching.